Hey guys, and welcome back to Regrexit. Brexit Britain, a country who decided to go bullfighting in a red suit. I think it was like a George Cross suit, so it's like red and white, but still. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all of your messages you sent me, and a special thanks here to everyone who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all the messages and I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. So, we've had Priti Patel, right, our hardline racist, right, woman of colour Home Secretary, right? You know, she did say. I mean, she said that she was going to get rid of the crossings 100%. Now you think to yourself, because obviously, right? I was like, well, that's that's a really big claim. It's a massive claim. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you know, you can't make claims like that. It's stupid. But then again, yeah, it was Priti Patel that said when we was in the heart of lockdown, right, Priti Patel came out with one of the most stupid statements I've ever heard a politician say. She said, right, that shoplifting was down. All the shops was closed. All the shops, right? Even McDonald's and the KFC was closed. She said shoplifting is down, and that's all down to her brilliant government. She didn't say that bit about the brilliant government, but I'm sure she was. I'm sure that's what she meant. But no, she said that shoplifting was down, right, in the heart of lockdown. Right, so Priti Patel now is again, right, because she's completely out of ideas, because obviously she's had the wave machine, chucking them back, pushing them back pushing them back, and then jet skis, right, the British Navy. I mean, she's come up with a lot of stuff. £54 million to the French, right? And that was going to help. But she's come up with a lot of different stuff, right? And depending on who you are and where you are, a lot of useful stuff. Just depending on who you are. No, none of it was going to work. But at least, like how it's the same with Boris Johnson. He just says stuff, right? Like I'm going to level up. I'm going to make sure, right, that this goes from the Midlands up to Leeds. He's going to make sure that happens. He said that. No, before yesterday, before his disannouncement yesterday, when he said no, we're not going to do it now. What we're going to on the existing Victorian train lines, what we're going to do is we're going to just do something on there. Oh, do you know what I mean? Right. So as I said, so Priti Patel now, yeah, Priti Patel's just like, she was going to get rid of the crossings 100%. Right. And then, yesterday you had Dominic Raab making the massive announcement, right? How they're going to be sending these people, these people are going to touch down in this country for no longer than 7 days. Then their ass is going to be sent to Rwanda or to Albania. That's right. Send them there. Right? Let Albania go and deal with our problems for us. Because we remember who we are, because we have the right to dictate to other people in their countries, right, who can go there, right, and if we feel, right, that we need to take the country over, then we will do. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, America. So if we feel, right, and remember, right, we nearly had South Africa too, I remember that, right? And and Botswana, we nearly had all these places as well. But you know what? There was just too much of the damn blacks, right, to murder them all off. We could do it with we could get rid of it. We could do it with the Aborigines. got rid of so much of them, and as well, yeah, you know, because remember, yeah, all like India and Pakistan. Do you know what I mean? You know, where we had a strong foothold there too, but there was just too many damn Indians, right? Right? Just too much of them, right? For us to, right? But you know, if we could have murdered the lot and taken that country too, that's what we would have done. But as I say, yeah, so Priti Patel now, right? You know, probably the most stupid Home Secretary we had, definitely the most racist, and for a woman of color, that's just like, you know, if you know how disgusting that is. But then you know, she comes from good stock because her dad is a UKIP councillor or whatever. Do you know what I mean? You think to yourself, this man came here as a fucking refugee. He come to this country as a refugee, and then he is joining UKIP. I don't know if anybody can explain that to me. I just don't understand how that. I just don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. Do you know what I mean? You was thrown out by Idi Amin, and what you want to do is come over here, right? Coming over here, right, and right, joining in with the bullies. Couldn't these people just come over here and just steal all our jobs and our council housing? They have to go and join in with, have to go and join in with the bullies as well. Come on, man, be serious, right? How the hell, right, have you come here as a refugee, right? But you know, very strangely, yeah, I hear a lot of people come on the radio, right, who have come to this country from somewhere else, right, and they agree with people like Nigel Farage, and think to yourself, are you joking with me here? Are you just serious, or is this just a wind up? Is this an English person just putting on a really good foreign accent? Right? Because seriously, I don't understand how you can benefit, you know, because a lot of these people have benefited from like freedom of movement, right? And they're so motherfucking racist. Don't understand that. But anyway, I went off subject. Anyway, right? Yeah, so Dominic Raab yesterday, right, was giving a massive speech. I mean, about how, you know, they're not going to spend more than 7 days on these lands, right? The White Cliffs of Dover will only be visible for them, right, for 6 and a bit days, and then their ass is going to be flown, right, over to Albania at the cost of £100,000 each migrant that they send there. But the only thing is, yeah, they forgot to ask the Albanians. They forgot to speak to the Albanians about this, because the Albanians come out today and said no. Because you didn't know that, right? I bet you didn't know this, right? But in Albania, right, no is not, right, and yes is. I'm finding that really hard. But so the Albanians have said no, or it might be Nick, right? But that's what they've said. No, we know nothing about this, and furthermore, right, you can deal with your own problems yourself. The hell do you think you're doing? Right? Now, I don't know, because I haven't heard from the Rwandans as yet. Do you know what I mean? We, you know, haven't heard what they've had to say about it. But as Britain has not spoken, right, to Albania about this, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say they haven't spoken to Rwanda as well. Right? But you know what really gets me, right, is they know that this in the press. Dominic Raab said it on TV yesterday. So obviously when he said it, right, everybody in the country would have been just like, well, obviously, you know, do we really, you know, if Dominic Raab is saying something on the TV, do we really need to check to say, well, have they spoken to the Albanians? Seriously, that shouldn't be the first question that comes out, should it? Because we assume that he has spoken, or Priti Patel has spoken to her Albanian counterpart about this, right? Now, am I going mad, right, for just assuming that? Is there something wrong with me for just assuming, right, that these guys would have checked with the Albanians? right? Is it? I don't know. It might just be me. I don't know, because I know that I do know, right, that these are some of the smartest people in the country, right, and from all accounts, right, there's a lot of people in this country who want to give them a higher wage, and they think that, if we give them a higher wage, we will get better people in Parliament. I think what will happen there is we'll have the same people, the same incompetent fools, right, but just being paid more money. That's what I think would happen, right? Because these fools are incompetent. But even in saying that, right, you're on the TV saying this, right? Do you not expect the Albanians to come out and say, we don't know what you're talking about? I mean, can Albanians understand English? I mean, all my Albanian friends can, and to be honest, they all speak it very, very well. I know quite a few Albanians, right? The Albanians, like, they'll be like, if you do this for me, I give you a coffee. I'm like, a coffee? And then I worked out what they mean is, you do this for me, I'll give you a drink. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, it's not a fucking coffee. Coffee costs like £3. Right? You give someone a drink, not a bloody coffee. No? But, all the Albanians I know, they speak English very, very well. Very, very well. So I don't understand these people. Seriously, these people are playing, I just think it's just this, I don't know what it is. Because you just think, you've got to know to yourself, well, Albania are going to come out and say, we don't know what you're talking about. And then the next day, you're going to look like an idiot. But then again, we are dealing with Dominic Raab, isn't it? Who's the person who said, I didn't realise how important Dover was to this country. Now, it's not that he said it, right? It's not that he didn't know how important Dover was. It's the fact that he said it out loud. That's what makes him stupid. Because all he would have needed to do, was go home, right, and Google, right, how important Dover is to this country. Rather than saying out loud, I didn't realise how important Dover was. Because that makes him look like a fucking idiot. Really stupid. So, right, now we know that Dominic Raab, right, is a fucking idiot, right, then we can understand why he would be out there saying, oh, we're going to be sending these people to Albania. They're not going to stay here for more than 7 days. Do you know what I mean? Just, the level of incompetence and stupidity, right, with these people is just, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Him, Priti Patel, right, she's going to get rid of the 100%, right? And now, what's she doing? She's now blaming the EU, right, for these woes. She's blaming the EU. It's their fault, right? It's their fault. It's everybody else's fault, right? Apart from Britain's fault. It's everybody else's fault. Do you know what I mean? Everybody else's fault. I didn't see Belarus, right, invading Iraq, or or going, I didn't see them doing all these things, right, and all of this, right, all of this, right, people displaced around the world, right, all these people are coming from Iraq, from Libya, from Syria, from Afghanistan. How would you like to stay in fucking Afghanistan with the fucking Taliban? Or stay in Iraq, right? Every 5 minutes you've got fucking bombs going off every minute. I'm sure you've still got pockets of fucking ISIS in Syria and in Libya. How the fuck would you like to live in that shit? Right? And then furthermore, right, some of these countries have got fucking sanctions against them and all these type of things. I mean, they've got the Taliban's money, they're not giving the Taliban back their money. Right? So how the fuck is the Taliban supposed to run a country if they can't get hold of the money what they're owed? How the fuck are they supposed to run anything? Do you know what I mean? right? You see, so this is the thing, right? And you know, all of these countries, right, that we're now saying, you know what, we don't want these motherfuckers coming here, right? It's us who have done this to these people. We've done this to these people, right? So you know what, you know, me. Do you understand? Do you understand this, right? That because you know the people coming across the channel, right? For me, it's like a Brexit bonus because I don't mind because I want to help them, right? Because you know what, we are the people who have fucked them up in the first place, so they deserve help from us, right? We need to open up our country and let as much of them in as we can because we have done this to them. Right. They didn't, you know, I'm quite sure, right, that these people, right, wouldn't have been leaving their countries. Right. You know, if Saddam Hussein was still alive, if Gaddafi was still alive, these people wouldn't be leaving their countries. If the Taliban wasn't running if we didn't allow the Taliban to be running Afghanistan, people wouldn't be leaving these places. Right. So the reason why they're leaving these places is because of us. We've done this to them. Right, so now we just have to fucking suck it up, and that's it. Simple as that. You know, when these people are saying, "Oh, well, all I can see is boatloads of blokes," right? But you know, I understand this, right? To you, all you fucking Brexiters, right? These boat people, your fault, right? And do you know, right? I don't know if you've heard. I don't know if you Brexiters. Probably most of you is probably too stupid to understand anyway. But there's something called the Dublin Agreement. I know everyone from the left understands what the Dublin Agreement is, right? And most people from the left despise the Dublin Agreement, right? Because you know what, right? It meant that Britain, right, could keep away from the things it's supposed to be doing, from the help it's supposed to be giving people. Because they're like, you know what, whatever the first countries you touch down in, right, then you have to claim asylum there, right? But that's not actually true. Right, you can pass through any countries and then go to the country where you want to claim asylum. But with the Dublin Agreement, yeah, they take all your details, so they take your fingerprints, right? So, right, it's between everyone in the EU, it's all linked up, right? Which means, right, if someone comes here, right, but they've already claimed asylum in Spain, they will hit on the computer. Right, which means that they could be returned back to Spain as Spain's problem, so for Spain to deal with, right? Now, unfortunately, fortunately, you guys voted Brexit, right? Which means that we're out of the Dublin Agreement, right? And that means that we can't return anybody anyway, because we probably haven't got access to the database anymore anyway. Right, but it means that even if these people, right, have claimed asylum, they could have claimed asylum, yeah, in France, in Germany, right, you know, in Italy, is right, anywhere in the EU they could have claimed asylum, right, but they could still come here, right, and just claim too. Because we no longer have access to that database, right? We're out of the Dublin Agreement, right? Which for me is another Brexit benefit. It's a bonus for me because I hated the Dublin Agreement all this time. I really hated it because I thought it was really unfair on everybody else in the world. Because you know, literally, the only way you could have got to this country before the French started just releasing all these people, the only way you could have got here before, right, was literally flying in. Do you know what I mean? You know, obviously a lot of people used to hang on to the bottom of trucks and get into trucks and all that. Do you know what I mean? But all of that, yeah, is a lot easier to detect because our customs borders are in France, right? So we had control of that. Right, so it was a lot harder for people to get in the back of trucks and come over. They still would do it, but it was a lot harder, and they'll catch a lot more people. But now, because people are coming over in dinghies, we've got no control over that. No one's got any control over that. The only people who can actually control that are the French. They're the people who can control it. But why the fuck should they? These people don't want to stay in France. They want to come here. So why should the French stop them? You know, the French already have enough people claiming asylum in their country. Right? Everybody else has got, you know, double or triple the amount of people claiming asylum. You know, Britain, just a few thousand people claiming asylum to come to Britain, and Britain's like, it's throwing its hands in the air. It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. You know, so this is the reason why, as I said, the Dublin Convention, right? For me, right, leaving the EU, that's a real bonus right there. That and people coming here on rubber dinghies, it's all good. But let's speak about some Brexit anyway, right? Because the EU, are still pushing us about, and you know why? Because they can just be big bad bullies, right? And because we don't have what's the word I'm looking for? Oh God, I'm looking for a word. Veto. That's a lovely word, isn't it? Does VW use that? Pesky Germans again. The word I was looking for was veto. Right? So because we don't have a veto now, right, and because they need to make sure that they can control like the London finance, they're just bringing new rules in, right? And because we're outside the room where they're making these new rules. Obviously, if we didn't leave the EU, they wouldn't need to bring in these new rules anyway. But they're just bringing new rules in, right? That we will have no choice. We just have to abide by what they say. You know what we are? I'll tell you what we are. Right? We're like the youngest person in the prison who's just gone in the shower room and asked to bend over and pick up the soap. Sweet meat. Oh my God! You see, do you know what I think? Do you know what I think? Right? I think that all of us Ramonas, right? You know, we was trying to protect you. We was trying to protect you Brexiters from this because we knew all of this. We knew that Britain, is not. Britain doesn't rule no waves anymore. We knew all of this. Right? But we tried to protect you from this because we didn't want you to see all of this. We didn't want you to see the EU just bend us over, right, and slap us on our bare backside. We didn't want you to see this, but this is what's happening. Right? The EU will just determine the financing through London, through the London's. Things like your hedge funds and your banking, and then so this will all these type of things. It will affect. The EU, because the EU can take control of these things, because there's one problem that we're facing. Tell you what the problem is, right? Is that we need them more than they need us. Do you know something? I'm sure I've heard those words before, but just the other way round. But I'm sure I've heard those words before because now we're finding out, right? And us, Ramonas or whatever you want to call us, right? We try to protect you from this. Try to protect you from this, right? And now you're seeing it for yourself. We're being made to look like fucking idiots. We've got Lord Frost who's just had to back down, being made to look like an idiot. Just had to back down, just slapped down by the Americans, right? And now the EU are just flexing their muscles, just flexing their muscles on us, right? But you know what? The newspapers won't report none of this. The newspapers won't tell you how stupid and weak Britain are. They would never tell you. Do you know what I mean? Because they still want to build the Rule Britannia. Rule Britannia rules nothing anymore, right? Britannia doesn't even rule itself. Right, because of the sovereignty that we've taken back, right, we have left ourselves in the most weakened position ever because we've taken that sovereignty, yeah, and we've given 25% of it to the French, right, and the EU has retained 25% of it, so we've got 50% sovereignty. 50%, right? Whereas before we had 100% sovereignty before. Sovereignty was 100% before. Now we've got 50%, right? Because now we just have to take whatever rules they say. And another thing, right? Ryanair is leaving the London Stock Exchange. Ryanair just saying, you know what? We're taking our plain tail, and getting the fuck out of here. Because they're gone. Do you know what I mean? What this, everyone, yeah, you know what it's like, yeah? The rats. No, no. You know something, yeah? The Ryanair boss, he's a bit of a dick. Right? He is a bit of a dick, right? But, people are just taking their shit and they're getting the fuck out of here because Britain is a sinking ship. You Brexiters, you've finished this country off, right? Not only have you fucked up the kids' future in this country, right? All these great companies are leaving this country. DHL, Ryanair, do you know what I mean? Honda. Do you know what I mean? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Right? But I'm quite sure you all knew what you was voting for. And that is quite a long enough rant. This is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.